Hello, and welcome. Price Action Pivoter V5Ai has been released. In Price Action Pivoter V5Ai, you get real-time AI. To be more specific, it's a proprietary LSTM machine learning model, which is an automated trading strategy exclusively designed for the NinjaTrader platform. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Rafi Soshikian. I'm the principal at Pinnacle Quant LLC. I'm a licensed and registered commodity trading advisor. I'm an algorithmic systems developer, and I'm the sole developer and coder of all of the trading systems and trading strategies that you see on pinnaclequant.com. Moreover, I'm a registered vendor with the NinjaTrader ecosystem, so you can also look me up on the NinjaTrader ecosystem as well. Now, I've been blessed to have served traders from all walks of life. University professors, engineers, legal professionals, medical professionals, small funds, financial advisors, business people, entrepreneurs, retired business people, executives, retired executives. In any event, the list is pretty long, thankfully, and I look forward to serving you too. Now, I would like to show you the results of what I've been working on for the last 4 months, so let's jump right in. I think the best way to demonstrate how this advanced automated trading strategy works, as well as how the proprietary HigherEdgeAi LSTM model works, is to simply show you some hypothetical backtests. I'll show you ES, I'll show you NQ, I'll show you GC, and then I'll analyze those a bit, and then I'll show you how to deploy this strategy, the Price Action Pivoter V5Ai strategy, onto a chart and how easy it is to do so. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is ES. This is Price Action Pivoter V5Ai. 5 days that I'm looking for trades, Monday through Friday. I'm looking for trades, essentially RTH hours, so 6:30 is when the market opens, Pacific Standard Time. 12:30 is when I'm stopping looking for trades. The reason for that is because my flatten everything time is 12:59, so 1 minute before RTH close, regular trading hours close. So I want to give it at least some room for the trade to breathe. So the last trade that it's looking for is 12:30. Essentially, these are measured moves, so it's looking to see if there's enough room from one entry to the next resistance level or the next support level. So this is an API key-based model, meaning that you will need an API key that I will be assigning to you once you come on board and get a license. And that API key will essentially be generating the CSV and the TXT files. The CSV file is where the data gets written and the model, the HigherEdgeAi model, gets trained. And the TXT file is where the Python terminal is going to be writing the signals to, which then the Price Action Pivoter V5Ai automated trading strategy is reading those signals in real time and taking action on those signals. So the API key essentially is going to communicate with my server, make sure that you have an active and authorized license, and it's going to be responsible for actually creating the session-based file names. So the CSV file name and the TXT file name is created off of my server and written automatically down to your machine. So you have some money and trade management parameters here. You have a trailing high-low peak trailing stop. It's considered a peak high-low custom trailing stop that I have here. It's got 2 elements of potential trailing stops. So it's got basic unrealized profit, which in this case I'm using $800. It's also got an AI-based one, so it's got unrealized profit plus AI signal. So if you get an adverse AI signal and you have at least $400 of unrealized profit, then it's going to move your stop to 50% away from the unrealized peak high. Okay, I've done that for both short and long trades here. So your trailing stop is active. This is your limit order. That's your price. That's your profit target rather. That's a limit order. And then if you have a market order for your stop, it's $500. And you have this, don't forget, the net session loss limit is at $1,000. So what that means is when you're flat on the trades, if you're down $1,000 or more, it's going to stop looking for further trades. In essence, if you're using a $500 stop, and this is a self-directed automated trading system, so you get to pick whatever your risk to reward ratios are. But if you are indeed using $500 as your stop, then if you had 2 losing trades in a row, you would already hit that $1,000 mark plus slippage. Let's say give or take a tick or two, and you would be out for the day. So for that session, you're done. It's going to look for additional trades during the next session. So it's looking to flatten everything in at 12:59, 1 minute before RTH close. This is June 1st to 01:15. Now I generated the ES signals 30 days at a time, and I'll show you what I mean. I also have a blog post on this. I posted it here. So if you go to my website, pinnaclequant.com, price-action-pivoter-V5Ai, you'll be able to see the blog post that I have where I explain everything in detail. and I give you the actual TXT files, the download that you can do for the TXT signals, as well as the CSV file itself for both, actually for all three, for ES, for NQ, as well as for GC. Okay, so that's GC and that is NQ. Okay, so definitely take a look at that blog post. Gives you a lot of detail. In this video, I'm going to try to do a synopsis of everything and to try to explain as much as I can so that it's very clear. And you'll see how easy this automated trading strategy is to deploy. All right, so this is what it was from June 1st until 01/15. I have included slippage, 1 tick. You'll see it there. I have not included commissions, so when you see the total number of trades, multiply that by however amount of money that you would have paid round trip for your broker. So let's say, just to make the numbers easy, $5, and let's say to make the, instead of 647 trades, it was, let's say, 700 trades, then it would be 700 times 5, $3,500. You subtract that from the total net profit. Here it's 129,000 of hypothetical. You would essentially subtract 3,500 from 129,000, and that's what you would end up with as your total net profit. So this is your max drawdown. In my opinion, this is the most important number. I want to briefly say this, guys, because you see and hear different things out there that are simply not true. In trading, it's not wishful thinking. It's not positive thinking, and it's going to go your way. It's not mental control or any weird stuff that you may see elsewhere. It's quite the opposite. You have to think of the worst case scenarios, okay? So you always think of worst case scenarios. What's my max drawdown? What's the most that I can be down today? Those type of thoughts. Why? Because it gives you serenity, it gives you peace when you know that that's the worst case scenario. You've mentally thought about that, and now you understand that that is the worst case scenario. If that doesn't happen, the exact opposite happens. You do really well in your trades, and that's a blessing. That's great. But you don't think that way. You think of the worst possible case scenario. Why? Because it's defense first in trading. You have to think of defense first, offense comes later, okay? Obviously, both are very important, but defense, in my view, is more important than offense, okay? Because this is not a business of, I'm going to be trading for a month or two. This is not even a marathon. This is much more than a marathon. This is a lifetime thing. So if you're going to do this lifetime, you have to be able to understand and cope with the ups and the downs of the market, okay? Notice I don't have a 100% win rate, okay? So it's they're going to have losing days. You're going to have potentially losing weeks, potentially a losing month, even though we didn't have it here, but it's potentially possible. And so because it's possible, you want to be prepared for it. So anyway, let me break this down for you a little bit so you can see it. Let's do, I guess monthly is the first thing to do. So here's June through January, June of last year until January of this year. So those are your max drawdowns, okay, for each month. But of course, it can carry over from one month to the next, and that's why it's higher. It's 3,062. And so, but this is the total net profit. These are the number of trades that it took. Let's break this down really quickly for the week. So this is weekly results. Let me show you. Going up and down. Feel free to rewind this video, fast forward, etc., so you get an idea of it. But as you can see, there are clearly losses. Okay. All right, and then daily, you're going to see obviously a lot more losses. We have 647 trades. So in fact, let me show you the losses first. Let me just go up and down real quick so you can see it for the video. You want to rewind it later. But here are all the losses in a row. It's not in a row. I'm showing it in a row, but obviously it's not in a row. 916, 115, 64, etc. But I want you to see it. So there it is. There are losses, and of course these are the wins. All right. So again, weekly. Let's make sure it's chronologically correct. All right, and then monthly. All right. So that's ES. Let me quickly show you. I guess the next thing I should show you would be this is NQ. So this is NQ. This is the approximately same time frame. So this is June 1st of 2024 until June 14th, because that's when I ran it. I ran this one first, and then I ran ES. June 14, 2025, I ran ES the next day. So this is the total net profit. It has, remember, NQ is like the beast of indexes. Okay, so NQ, the NASDAQ 100 futures, it has less volume, significantly less volume than ES has. And because it has less volume, you're going to have higher volatility. Okay, so because of the less volume, also your slippage could be higher, which is why I use 2 ticks for the slippage for these back tests when I use 1 tick for ES. And so here's 1,501 trades, 647 trades for ES, 1,501 trades for NQ. Okay, that's significantly higher, obviously. And so here are the results. Here are the parameters that I used, just so you see it. I'm going to go slowly. Again, feel free to rewind, fast forward, etc. Okay. There you go. This is your max drawdown, 4335. In trading, there is a rule, okay? The higher the risk, the higher the reward. The lower the risk, the lower the reward, okay? It's just what it is. So if you take a lot of risk, you may have a lot of reward, but you could also lose a lot more. So just how you have to think about the trade setup when you're using the self-directed automated trading strategy. So those are the parameters that I use. Let's break this down a little bit so you see further. Here are the monthly results. Let's make sure they're in order. So 6/1 last year, 2024 until January of this year. So here are the max drawdowns. So July was the worst one. Okay, that's the record one. That's August. Notice what I'm looking at first. This is what you should be looking at too, in my opinion. Look at what's the negative first. Okay, so that you're mentally absorbing all of that first and seeing if that's something you want to live with. Now again, so I get this question all the time. Well, does this work on the micros? I don't want to trade, the E-minis. I want to trade the micros. Of course, it works on all futures instruments. In fact, I don't stop you from using any of it. I'm going to show you US, I'm going to show you NQ, I'm going to show you GC. But I want you to remember one thing, that you want to look for futures instruments that have some sort of volatility. If it's a boring futures instrument where it barely moves a tick or two, and if you've and I explain this further in this video, so do watch this video in its entirety. It's only going to benefit you. So if your desired profit, you put in at 1250, that's what you were trying to get, and I'll explain what that means. It's a critical number. And there is no $1,250 that you can get to in 2 hours. Okay, I'll explain that as to why it's 2 hours. Then, the signals aren't going to be there. How could you find signals for you when it just can't get there? So that's why you want to use an instrument that has that kind of capability. It can get there. Okay, so just remember that when you're trading, that you should pick an instrument that has the ability to get to your desired profit, or you'll significantly lower your desired profit. Okay, so don't leave it at $1,250. Lower it. Okay, so I'll discuss more as to how that works later. Let me just go through the hypothetical back tests here. So this was monthly. Since I did it for the ES side, let me show you the weekly side on this as well. So, all right, so for this one, it was just this one that had the weekly loss. But rest assured, there will be daily losses. I guarantee it. So there's going to be losses. What I'm doing right now is showing you all of the losses. They're not in any type of order. This is November 6th. This is January 13th of this year. This is September 13th, etc. I just want to show you from the most that was lost in a day. There was 8 trades. It was down 1,500. 17 trades in one day. Because remember, this is 6:30 to 12:30. One day. It's got 17 trades, down 1,390, etc. You see a lot of red here. Of course, we have 1,501 trades, so you're going to see a lot more trades that are, in the black. But I wanted to show you everything that's there. So that is the idea for that. I generated the signals for NQ 15 days at a time, going back all the way until June 1st. With ES, I used 30 days. With GC, I used 30 days. But when it comes to NQ, I did 15 days. You'll see when you're running the LSTM model, the HigherEdgeAi proprietary LSTM model, when you're running that, essentially the system will run it for you. You don't actually have to run it manual or anything like that. It will automatically run it for you, but you'll see the signals as it's coming in, and you'll see what happens to your memory usage on your own machine, your computer, your VPS, whatever it is that you're using to trade. You'll see how the memory will spike higher when you're using NQ. The LSTM model has to work much harder when it comes to processing NQ. So what I do is I do less signals at a time if I'm running a backtest. If you're not going to run a backtest, you're just doing live trades, live sim trades, whatever it is that you're doing, you just basically are going to load the strategy and it's going to take care of everything for you. I'm going to demonstrate that for you in this video. So next I'm going to jump really quickly over to GC. This is also included in the blog post. This was GC. So again, Monday through Friday, I'm going to go over the parameters so you can take a look at the parameters and see exactly what I've done. You'll notice that the trailing stop is much tighter on the AI version of it, which is these 200 numbers here. So it's going to be this minimum number of $200 plus an AI. That's an adverse AI signal. And so we'll explain that. I'll explain that in this video. And my trading stop is also less. So that's a market order. Remember, your profit target is always a limit order. Your stop is always a market order. And let me tell you something else. I also, include those, the profit target and the stop, immediately upon the entry of the trade. So right when the trade is executed and there's a trade that's live now, there is a profit target and a stop sitting with your broker servers in this system. So right off the bat, that's there. okay? But for any reason, if your strategy disconnects, you lose your internet connection, your NinjaTrader is down, whatever happens, your strategy has disconnected for whatever reason, those trades will still be there. So your stop will be there, your profit target will be there, the day is still active. Well, guess what? If you want to get out of those, then you have to manually exit that trade because the strategies has been disabled. The way to re-enable the strategy in this API key session-based system will be to do it again. So you would load the chart again, you would re-enable the strategy. It does not pick up where it left off, okay? That is how the session-based system works, because now it has to write a new CSV file, a new TXT file from my server down to your machine once again. Again, this is done to ensure that only authorized users are able to use this model. Moreover, it doesn't just stop there. There's actual part of the algorithm, part of the critical code is actually on the server. It needs to communicate it to the server to actually read that algorithm. So that's not even on the software. Just again, to make sure that only authorized users are using this license. It's going to be one machine per license with this system, okay? So this is GC really quickly. It had 747 trades. We're going from June 1st of last year until January 15th of 2025 this year. Max drawdown. Let's do some breakdown analysis. So this is your monthly. Okay, you see, I always look at the max drawdown first, guys. Okay, so look at that and then look at the net profit each month. Then, okay, that's the proper order: defense, then offense. That's not my view. Do what you feel is best, but that's my view. This is weekly. Okay, so there are definitely down weeks right there, and then the rest are in black. Let's take a quick look at daily. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll go over it real quick. You can feel free to rewind, fast forward this video as you see fit, but I just wanted to show it to you all together. So that's the most, 1260 all the way down. Okay, and then it gets into the black. All right, so that's everything for, so I've shown you ES, I've shown you NQ, I've shown you GC. Again, this works on any futures instrument. Look preferably for ones that have more volatility. If not, you're gonna have to drop down the desired profit, okay? Now, that's a good segue to explain what this model is. What is desired profit? Why did I say 2 hours earlier? Okay, let me show you what's happening there. So let's go and load up a strategy. Let's do NQ on a chart. So let's say today is Tuesday, and you're going to set up this strategy. So you've got a license, I've given you your API key, you followed the instructions, you read the quick start notes which are available in your download control panel area of pinnaclequant.com, and now you're gonna load this thing. Okay, so let's look at NQ, why it's the most volatile. Let's just take a look at it. Let's say you want it to load 5 days, which is fine, so you load the 5 days. Here's what we're gonna do. So as it's loading, I'm going to show you how I'm gonna set this up. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the strategy. I just right click on the chart, the strategy comes up, and ignore all the extra strategies that you see here. I've done a lot of strategies. I've also done a lot of tests of my strategies. So that's Price Action Pivoter V5Ai. I'm going to select 5 days that I'll look for trades. I'm going to keep this at 1250. The desired profit is still at 1250. I'm going to go long and short, and I'm going to need my API key real quick, which is right here. So I'm going to put that in. This is a temporary API key, so I'm going to get rid of that. You don't have to do anything for backtest data file name because we're not running a backtest. Remember, I said this is Tuesday. You're trying to set it up. Let's say it's, I don't know, Eastern time, 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, and you want to set this up, 8:30, whatever it is. Okay, you want to set it up before the market opens because you're trading between 6:30 to, 12:30, or you're not trading 6:30. If you're in East Coast, you'll be trading 9:30 in East Coast, 9:30 until 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's military time in this system. So if you wanted to do you wanted to do 3:30, you would do 15:30. You would not do 12. You would not do 3:30. Okay, it's military time. So you would essentially put that in. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on Launch HigherEdgeAi Python. Once I do that, in fact, let me do it while I'm still speaking. So I'm going to put this at $1,000. Okay, and that's my net session loss limit. My net session profit limit when the system is out of the trades is $5,000 or more. It stops looking for trades. It's down 1,000 or more when it's out of the trades. It's going to stop looking for the trades. Maximum number of trades for the session. Remember, in futures trading, a lot of stock traders get confused when it comes to this. Equity traders, for futures, it's not that day. It's the session starts the day prior. So for Tuesday, your session actually started on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, that's how it works. So you have 20 trades that you're looking for, and then for the session, it stops looking for further trades. Consecutive loss switch, I'm going to put this at 5. I've explained this in other videos. It's the same idea in this for this version as well for V5Ai. Essentially, it means that if you have consecutive losses in the same direction, it's going to stop. It's going to start looking for the opposite side only if you've selected the opposite side. In this case, I have long and short. Okay, so I'm going to choose. In fact, I'm going to choose less. $600 for the long unrealized minimum peak profit. Now you'll notice this, okay, or long unrealized minimum peak profit plus AI signal, and that AI signal is adverse because this is a trailing stop. So I'm going to put 400 for that. And whatever, I'm going to put this at 25% away. Let's say you could leave it at 25, you could leave it at 50. What does 25 mean? 25 means that it's going to park the trailing stop 25% away from the unrealized peak high that it recorded. The unrealized peak high since you entered that trade, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing for the short side, 600, 400, 25. Okay, my profit target is going to be 1,200. I'm going to change this to 500. So again, you can pick whatever profit target you want. Whether you want to pick whatever stop you want, you want to pick your whatever trailing stop you want. This is what I'm picking. Okay, you don't have to follow this, but this is what I'm doing. All right. Here's how you can find out what you want to do. Number one, you have to be comfortable with the risk to reward ratio that you have. Okay, that's the first thing. We don't want worried traders. I don't want you to be worried. Okay, so you have to understand what it is, that the risk that you're getting into, and you have to be comfortable with it and based on that. And moreover, once I've identified that, you want to run a back test and see what it would have done. No back test is 100%, but at least gives you a very clear idea. Why is this back test far more accurate than like the majority of the back tests you see in other strategies? Because other strategies are using Renko bars, they're using Heikin-Ashi bars, they're using custom bars, or they're not calculating on when the bar closes. I'm using a minute bar in this. I am not using any tick data whatsoever. This is not based on order flow because that requires tick data. So you don't even have to have the order flow indicator from NinjaTrader. You just essentially need to have just NinjaTrader. Okay, so you don't need that indicator. You don't need tick data. This is running on a minute bar and it's calculating at the close of the bar. So this backtest is far more accurate, but no backtest is 100% accurate. So I'm still exiting at 12:59, flatten everything. It's going to flatten everything. It's going to try to get out as long as your internet connection and the strategy is still running. Your internet connection has never disconnected. If it disconnects, it breaks the strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and enable this. Now, when I do, nothing is really going to happen for 5 minutes. Watch this. So first, anytime you do it, before you do anything, always double check your work. Okay, whenever you do it, just double check it. You can make a mistake. You don't want to make a mistake. So make sure I have the 5 days. I have the time that I'm looking for. This is the setup that I like. I like everything, $200, $500, stop for NQ, and I'm going to go ahead and enable this. Now, when I do, nothing is actually going to happen. It's going to load the mid-pivot points PHL indicator on this thing, and it's there right now. You can see all these lines. That's part of the mid-pivot points PHL indicator, which is included in the Price Action Pivoter V5Ai suite, but nothing else is happening. The terminal is not loading, at least not instantly. It takes 5 minutes. I've programmed it so that it waits 300 seconds. Why did I do that? I did that because I want the data that it's collecting right now, approximately 60 pieces of data, that it's collecting and writing to a CSV file, which the HigherEdgeAi LSTM machine learning model is being trained on. So I wanted to cache that data because we have to go really, really fast, okay? Cache, C-A-C-H-E, cache that data so that it goes a lot faster, much, much faster when it's actually running the signals and generating them to the TXT file. Now, again, with that API key, it's going to communicate. It just communicated to my server instantly. You didn't even see it. You didn't even notice if there's any latency. It instantly communicated to my server. It verified my API key with my machine ID. And there's another factor that I'm verifying with as well. And essentially, all those immediately got checked. Once it got checked, it automatically created a CSV file and a TXT file, which I'm going to show you. And that file name was generated on my server and written down to my machine. That's what's going to happen for you. So they're using your computer, desktop, laptop, VPS, your own dedicated server, whatever you're using, it's going to automatically write it for you. So once you essentially download everything from Pinnacle Quant, the control panel to your system, it's automatically going to take care of all this stuff for you. You don't have to worry about which file, where is it, which directory, nothing. It takes care of it for you. So you don't have to worry about any of it. And all of this is documented in the quick start notes, so you can read about it if you want to do that. This is what this model is doing. It is essentially being, it's gathering all the data, it's training, it's caching it, and then we're going to see the terminal pop up here. Okay, you're going to see a Python terminal pop up. It's first going to have some text there. It's going to have like a disclaimer. It's going to have some other information on it. Once that loads, about another 30 seconds, 60 seconds after that, it's going to just start rolling all of the signals one after the other. Now, how do the signals work? Remember how I said I'm going to explain to you what that desired profit, why was that so important? It's critically important. So in addition to desired profit, there's also, as I mentioned, approximately 60 pieces of data altogether that it is gathering, including your risk per trade. So I put $500 for that risk per trade. That's what I did. And then I also picked $1,250 for my desired profit. Now, the model is very complicated. It is the most advanced, sophisticated model I've ever come up with. And you guys have seen the other, I don't know if you have seen, but if you haven't, check out my website. At least on the About page, I describe all of the various different models that I've built. This is by far the most sophisticated LSTM model I've ever come up with. It is in real time. It is very, very advanced. And essentially what it's doing is it's a lot. The algorithm is pretty large, but I'll break down the crux of it, okay? It's trying to answer this question for you. Will I get to my desired profit, that's that $1,250 number, within the next 120 minutes, within the next 120 minutes, the next 2 hours, with a higher than 80% probability, so 80.01 would be higher than 80% probability, with a higher than 80% probability, sooner that I can get to my stop, which was $500. So it's going to tell you, to get to that, should you go long, should you go short, or should you stay out? Now, when I say should you go long, should you go short, you're not actually doing anything. It's once you've set it to go long and to go short, it's going to do it for you. So it's going to automatically write that signal. If it gets to 80%, higher than 80%, it's going to write that signal. And the NinjaTrader the NinjaTrader V5Ai strategy is going to be reading that signal and taking action on it, meaning going long for you. So you don't have to do anything. You're just watching it, and that's about it. Here's the terminal, guys. As I'm speaking, the terminal just loaded, and it is going to right now give you a bunch of text right there. There's your disclaimer. That's the welcome message, and it's fetching the weights right now from the server. And the next few seconds here, maybe 30 seconds, something like that, it's going to start, boom, just one after the other. The signals will start flowing through. Okay, here we go. And the signals are now going through. This, I said the last 5 days, so it started close to midnight, a little bit before midnight on January 14, and it's going right now. It's in January 15. And it's a little bit faster than this, but because I'm recording, it's a little bit slower, but it's generally a little bit faster than this. And of course, depending on the machine. Now, my machine is actually pretty old. Okay, so and purposely I'm not using a newer one for a good reason, because if it works on an old one, let me move this out of the way. Okay, you guys want to see the signals. Okay, so so as you can see, I have 32 gigs of memory. That's not a lot, and it's not the latest versions or anything like that. This is, I believe I bought this in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, this machine. And so my CPU is, previous generation. This is old tech. So you can see that it's running like this. Now, my GPU is laughable because it's integrated. So it's the Intel UHD Graphics 630. It's nothing, okay? You have beautiful GPUs now out there. The RTX, 40, 60, 70, 80, 40, 90, etc. There's high-end stuff out there that's available. Also, you don't have to get those, all right? If you use a VPS, half my clients are on their own desktops. The other half, some are on laptops. And the others are on VPSs. There are a few that are on dedicated servers of their own. It's all fine. It's just you have a Windows machine that's got at least 16 gigs. That means the way I describe this is you need 8 gigs for your NinjaTrader. You need 8 gigs per instrument that you're going to run at the same time. So if you were running just ES, then you would need 16 gigs of memory at least. If you're running ES and NQ concurrently, simultaneously at the same time, then you're going to need another 8 gigs. So you would need 24 gigs. So this has 32 gigs. You want an SSD drive, all right? And again, my GPU it's not good at all, but that's good for this demonstration, okay? So you want to use a more powerful, something more powerful than this, ideally. again, the VPSs, for example, if you see deep learning anywhere on a VPS, sometimes they'll say the words deep learning. That means it's a more powerful VPS. So if you don't want to worry about the specs, like what is all this stuff, no worry about it. Just look for, most VPS providers, if you get like not the cheapest, absolute dirt cheapest option, if you get something in the middle, you should be able to run much faster than my system is running. Generally speaking, with most VPS providers, just to keep that as a rule of thumb. If you get the middle option, not even the best option that they have, the middle option that they have, it's generally going to be much faster. So I think this is just a quick demonstration as to how this works. Now this is essentially running, and where is this data coming from? So this data is essentially being the CSV file that I mentioned. In fact, let me show it to you. So let's show you the CSV here. Here are the AI signals where it's being written, but let me show you the actual CSV file. So the CSV file is going to be written automatically to this directory. This is PAP.ai by PQLLC, so Price Action Pivoter AI by PQLLC. Automatically, this directory, it will be made for you instantly when you download the software, following the quick start notes instructions. Go in the order that I'm saying in the quick start notes. And this is the NQ that is being generated right now. Now this is, when I double click this, I'm going to choose read only. Okay, so I've made this so that you have the ability to choose read only. It will not impact the CSV file as it's being written. Okay, so this is the CSV file. A lot of data, guys, a lot. Okay, and so it's a lot. All right, you'll notice that 1250 is the desired profit, and that $500 that you see there in AZ, that is your stop. Okay, so that's your risk per trade. And anytime you see zeros, it's because the calc isn't there, the calculation isn't there. Pivots is not calculated off of just today. You need yesterday's data as well. Same with obviously 2 days ago high and 2 days ago low data. Same with RTH, open, RTH, close. If you're not in RTH time, you're not going to have RTH data. It'll be NA. So that'll be zeros, but until you get down, then you'll see them come in. Boom, 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 all the way through. All right, so the dates, times, everything is written here for you. The date, the time, the minutes, it's all minute by minute data, okay, that it's grabbing and it's being traded on. Now, remember how I said the CSV model is read-only? You can touch this, it will not impact the data that's coming in. However, that is not the case with the TXT file, okay? The TXT file, which is where the signals are being written, that's not the same, all right? So the CSV file, the TXT file right now is being populated. If I open this, if I double click it and open it, it is going to not write at that moment. So while it's open, it's not going to right now. You say, Rafi, you did read only on the CSV. You didn't do read only on the TXT. Come on, why? The reason for it is because I don't want any latency whatsoever. Any latency whatsoever. I'm forcing this to be written to it like at ASAP as far as the TXT model. So as soon as the terminal writes, the TXT file is updated. It writes on the terminal, the TXT file is updated. It's got to go super fast. Why? Because we want the NinjaTrader V5Ai strategy from within NinjaTrader to read this TXT file. Now, I strongly recommend you don't touch it when it's running live. Okay, when it stops, when it finally stops on the terminal, I'll go ahead and do it. And you can see exactly what's going on. In fact, I'll do it right now, but it won't be able to write during that minute. Once I close it, it'll start writing to it again. Okay, so this is all of the, there it is. Okay, so that's all of the signals so far that have come in. All right, it must have stopped. There it is. Yeah, it has stopped. So it stopped at 11:36 p.m. and that's when I'm recording this. This is the only time that I have to record, guys, because I have a busy day almost every single day. So with the exception of Sunday. So there it is. It's writing to it. Now, I want to show you something where it has no signal. At some point, you're going to, okay, so you see this? No signal generated. When you see no signal generated, there's going to be literally nothing on the TXT file, but it's transparently showing you that there was no signal generated during that time. Okay, so there was no signal generated between 1937. It's going to keep messing with me. So 1937, 1936, all the way down to 19. As it's calling it up, it's going to go back down again until 1956. So there's going to be no signals during that time. So that's just something to, you can see it right there. You see, there's no signal between 1935 and then it goes to 1957. So that's how this model works. Again, the file names are being generated, so you don't have to worry about anything because the file names are being generated off of my server for you when the API key connects. So this is how that model works. Now, if I wanted to run a backtest with this, okay, I would just look at all of the files that are there. So now all of it should be written. The way I would recommend this is don't use the TXT file that's being written to. Instead, name it to something that you can remember. So select all, Control C, all right, grab all of that and Control V it into a new notepad, okay? Open up a notepad, paste it all in there, save it with something you're gonna remember, like NQ, the date that you ran it, the desired profit that you use, the risk per trade that you use, and then save it to something you're gonna remember. Then you just copy and paste that file and you put it into the backtest data file name, okay? And then you run it. That's how you can backtest it. So this, in essence, is how this model works. It is the most advanced LSTM model I have ever come up with, and it is the best strategy I have ever come up with. And I think you see from the hypothetical backtests here, that was the previous screen was GC, this is NQ, and this screen is ES. You're gonna see that it sort of speaks for itself. So this is the entirety of this system. I hope that it's beneficial to you. I hope that you use it for a lifetime. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're interested in this, you want to ask for a Zoom demo, and because I do want to meet you. Now, some people place an order directly on the website. I usually follow up with them and I say, I still want to meet you. So I'll arrange for a Zoom video because I want to know all of my clients. I want to know as much as I can about them. I believe in that relationship. I grow with my clients is what I'm saying. That's why I want to be in communication with everybody. Also, if you do get this suite of tools, the price action pivoter, so the only difference is this right here, the 30 days, the 30 contracts. So for Mach 15, it is 15 contracts. For Mach 16, it is 30 contracts. Everything else is the same. Now, majority of you, honestly, you're gonna be in the Mach 15 camp. The reason for that is because majority of the clients that I have are not trading 15 contracts. It's usually 1 to like 5 contracts, somewhere around there. So majority of the clients here. In any case, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time, take care of yourselves and God bless.